I'm going to take you along with me today to show you how I'm standing in faith regarding the faithfulness of God to fulfill the promises that He has made to His people, even the promises that He's made to us as individuals, the promises that no one else knows but us. There are things that God has told me that I'm standing in right now that no one else knows. He has not told anybody else what He's going to do for me because this is between me and Him. That doesn't mean that I don't have witnesses in the Word that He's brought me to show me that what He's saying, that what He was saying at the time was true. But no one else knows that. So I don't have other people to go to and say, hey, can you, remind me what God told you? I've got to stand. And if I don't stand, then all of that stuff is just going to drop off. I mean, what's going to happen? If you don't stand in your faith, you won't stand at all. And if you don't have the belief in the things that God has told you, well, then don't expect to receive them. You want biblical miracles, you got to have biblical faith. So I'm bringing you along with me. Not because it's doing anything for me necessarily, but because you're going to need this. It seems that most, if not all of you on this channel are not able to fully understand the things that I am talking about. There are some who are trying to implement and put into practice, and I hear from those people. But even those people are not being moved to do things that I know that they need to be doing. And the reason you're not fully understanding it is because you've been hardened. I'm grateful that you can hear a certain extent of this message, but you're not putting it into practice. And I want you to know that the Word has already prophesied about that. We already know that that's the case with the multitude in white robes. They're not going to be cleansed until God's wrath has subsided. They've rejected the offering of God's prophets. They've rejected the offering of the witnesses. They do not put it into practice. You're going to need this, so hang on to it. I got done doing a video telling you about what it is that I'm facing right now, and no sooner did I upload the video, my nail caught on my computer and it tore, and it turned jagged. And I know, that's like the most annoying thing ever to have a jagged nail like that. But I heard God speak the word jagged and said, go look it up. And there's only one place in the NIV, which made it really easy for me, where it talks about jagged, and that's in Job 41. And so what he was bringing me to, and what he's been speaking to me, is regarding his sovereignty. Job 41, if it doesn't ring a bell for you, is the last chapter of God going through his response to Job. So from Job 38 to 41, God is chastising Job. And we're going to read about it. And part of what he's chastising him with is his sovereignty, telling him, where were you when I did all these things? What are you able to do? And we really need to stand in this because we get really scared and judgmental about the way that God is doing things or the way he's not doing things. But if you notice here with Job, who's been used as a sign to us, an example to us, Job goes through so much suffering. He's judged by his own friends. Let me tell you, last week I received a message from someone telling me that all of this is all my fault and that I'm not taking responsibility. They don't understand. People don't understand what it is that God requires and where he takes you because they're not reading their Bible. They read what they want to read. And they leave the rest, right? Isn't that what people say in the world? Oh, I go to that church, but I don't agree with everything they say. I just take what I want to, take what is good and I leave the rest. I mean, how does that work? You don't get to treat the Bible like that just because you don't understand or you don't like the message. But that's what the majority of those calling themselves Christian do. In this sign, in this example of Job, what we see is that God takes him through the furnace all the way through. And it's not until God decides to rise, it's not until he decides that he's going to respond, that he's going to speak. And when he does speak, look at what he does. Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. And he said, who is this who obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man, and I will question you, and you shall answer me. Oh, so God doesn't play the game of turn up and judge him and try to justify ourselves before him. He doesn't play that game. If you heard that from God, you'd get into posture real quick. Oh, right. You're God, I'm not. Oh, right. You're doing something. You're the potter, I'm the clay. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundations? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? On what were its footings set? Or who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy. Who shut up the sea behind doors when it burst forth from the womb? When I made the clouds its garment and wrapped it in thick darkness? When I fixed limits for it and set its doors and bars in place? When I said, this far you may come and no farther? Here's where your proud waves halt. I mean, imagine. Can you imagine? I mean, most of us have been to the sea. We've been to the beach. We played in the waves. We've been taken under by the waves and had that moment of fear. God's talking about what he did with the entire sea. Who's ever heard of such things? Here's where your proud waves halt. Have you ever given orders to the morning or shown the dawn its place that it might take the earth by the edges and shake the wicked out of it? The earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Its features stand out like those of a garment. The wicked are denied their light, and their upraised arm is broken. Have you journeyed to the springs of the sea or walked in the recesses of the deep? Have the gates of death been shown to you? Have you seen the gates of the deepest darkness? Have you comprehended the vast expanses of the earth? Tell me if you know all this. By the way, Job's already been through 37 chapters of nightmare, of furnace, of suffering. Job, the one who was blameless, not perfect. Not perfect. Don't interpret the word like that. The only one who's ever been perfect is Christ. He was blameless, which means that he went to God, that he was accountable to God, that he believed in God. This man, who was blameless, God allowed Satan to tear his life down but not kill him. I mean, my goodness, at a certain point, you want to die. You long for death, but it eludes you. Job's already been through all this, and this is how God answers him. What are we? Clay, dust. We don't get to judge him. We don't get to make the plan and then tell him to follow what we've planned. Tell him what our bright ideas are. We are supposed to mold to him. We align to him. A soul aligned is not, I have my ideas and, fix my soul, align it. Align it to what? Your soul's been designed to be inhabited. You're a vessel, you're a temple. A lot of you came on this channel thinking that the title of that book was going to place everything in your hands to figure out how to control aligning your soul. Guess what? That's not the meaning of the title of the book. The meaning of the title of the book is that you conform to God, and that is how you become a new creation. That's how you are healed of the curse. That is how you work out your covenant for salvation. We are nothing. I don't care what psychology told you in the world. We are nothing. Our identity, our life, our esteem, if we're ever going to have any of those things, has to be in Christ. Has to become something very different from where your flesh wants to take you, where you've been following your whole life. You don't belong to yourself. And God is making sure that Job knows, I'm God. I'm the one who's sovereign. I'm doing something here. What's his first statement? Who is this who obscures my plans with words without knowledge? The implication is, I'm the one with the plan, not you. You sit back and you receive what it is that I'm doing. You conform your heart to what it is that I'm doing. You seek knowledge from me. You don't lean on your own understanding. Now let me ask you something. Is that the way you approach God? In a posture of understanding that he's the one who's sovereign and he's doing something, that he knows the pain that he's brought on you and that he's brought it on you for a reason, and you gotta receive what that reason is. And you gotta keep going through it until he's done with what he has set out to do. And if you're faithful, he'll be faithful. If you fulfill your part of the covenant, he'll fulfill his. What is the way to the abode of light? And where does darkness reside? Can you take them to their places? Do you know the paths to their dwellings? Surely you know, for you were already born. You've lived so many years. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, or seen the storehouses of hail, which I reserve for times of trouble, for days of war and battle? What is the way to the place where the lightning is dispersed, or the place where the east winds are scattered over the earth? Who cuts a channel for the torrents of rain, and a path for the thunderstorm, to water a land where no one lives, an uninhabited desert, to satisfy a desolate wasteland and make it sprout with grass? Does the rain have a father? Who fathers the drops of dew? From whose womb comes the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens when the waters become hard as stone, when the surface of the deep is frozen? Can you bind the chains of Pleiades? Can you loosen Orion's belt? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons, or lead out the bear with its cubs? Do you know the laws of the heavens? Can you set up God's dominion over the earth? Can you raise your voice to the clouds and cover yourself with a flood of water? Do you send the lightning bolts on their way? Do they report to you, "Here we are"? Who gives the ibis wisdom, or gives the rooster understanding? Who has the wisdom to count the clouds? Who can tip over the water jars of the heavens when the dust becomes hard and the clods of the earth stick together? Do you hunt the prey for the lioness and satisfy the hunger of the lions when they crouch in their dens or lie in wait in a thicket? Who provides food for the raven when its young cry out to God and wander about for lack of food? Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Do you watch when the doe bears her fawn? Do you count the months till they bear? Do you know the time they give birth? They crouch down and bring forth their young. Their labor pains are ended. Their young thrive and grow strong in the wilds. They leave and do not return. Who let the wild donkey go free? Who untied its ropes? I gave it the wasteland as its home, the salt flats as its habitat. It laughs at the commotion in the town. It does not hear a driver's shout. It ranges the hills for its pasture and searches for any green thing. Will the wild ox consent to serve you? Will it stay by your manger at night? Can you hold it to the furrow with a harness? Will it till the valleys behind you? Will you rely on it for its great strength? Will you leave your heavy work to it? Can you trust it to haul in your grain and bring it to your threshing floor? The wings of the ostrich flap joyfully, though they cannot compare with the wings and feathers of the stork. She lays her eggs on the ground and lets them worm in the sand, unmindful that a foot may crush them, that some wild animal may trample them. She treats her young harshly as if they were not hers. She cares not that her labor was in vain. For God did not endow her with wisdom, or give her a share of good sense. Yet when she spreads her feathers to run, she laughs at horse and rider. Do you give the horse its strength, or clothe its neck with a flowing mane? Do you make it leap like a locust, striking terror with its proud snorting? It paws fiercely, rejoicing in its strength, and charges into the fray. It laughs at fear, afraid of nothing. It does not shy away from the sword. The quiver rattles against its side, along with the flashing spear and lance. In frenzied excitement, it eats up the ground. It cannot stand still when the trumpet sounds. At the blast of the trumpet, it snorts. Aha! It catches the scent of battle from afar, the shout of commanders and the battle cry. Does the hawk take flight by your wisdom and spread its wings toward the south? Does the eagle soar at your command and build its nest on high? It dwells on a cliff and stays there at night. A rocky crag is its stronghold. From there it looks for food. Its eyes detect it from afar. Its young ones feast on blood, and where the slain are, there it is. The Lord said to Job, "Will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who accuses God answer him." Then Job answered the Lord, "I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? I put my hand over my mouth. I spoke once, but I have no answer. Twice, but I will say no more." Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. "Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Would you discredit my justice? Would you condemn me to justify yourself? Do you have an arm like God's, and can your voice thunder like his? Then adorn yourself with glory and splendor, and clothe yourself in honor and majesty. Unleash the fury of your wrath. Look at all who are proud and bring them low. Look at all who are proud and humble them. Crush the wicked where they stand. Bury them all in the dust together. Shroud their faces in the grave. Then I myself will admit to you that your own right hand can save you. Look at Behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loins, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar. The sinews of its thighs are close-knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze, its limbs like rods of iron. It ranks first among the works of God, yet its maker can approach it with his sword. The hills bring it their produce, and all the wild animals play nearby. Under the lotus plant it lies, hidden among the reeds in the marsh. The lotuses conceal it in their shadow. The poplars by the stream surround it. A raging river does not alarm it. It is secure though the Jordan should surge against its mouth. Can anyone capture it by the eyes, or trap it and pierce its nose? Can you pull in Leviathan with a fishhook, or tie down its tongue with a rope? Can you put a cord through its nose, or pierce its jaw with a hook? Will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak to you with gentle words? Will it make an agreement with you for you to take it as your slave for life? Can you make a pet of it like a bird, or put it on a leash for the young women in your house? Will traders barter for it? Will they divide it up among their merchants? Can you fill its hide with harpoons, or its head with fishing spears? If you lay a hand on it, you will remember the struggle and never do it again. Any hope of subduing it is false. The mere sight of it is overpowering. No one is fierce enough to rouse it. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has a claim against me that I must pay? Everything under heaven belongs to me. I will not fail to speak of Leviathan's limbs, its strength and its graceful form. Who can strip off its outer coat? Who can penetrate its double coat of armor? Who dares open the doors of its mouth, ringed about with fearsome teeth? Its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass them. They are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. Its snorting throws out flashes of light, its eyes like the rays of dawn. Flames stream from its mouth, sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke pours from its nostrils, as from a boiling pot over burning reeds. Its breath sets coals ablaze, and flames dart from its mouth. Strength resides in its neck. Dismay goes before it. The folds of its flesh are tightly joined. They are firm and immovable. Its chest is hard as rock, hard as a lower millstone. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. They retreat before its thrashing. The sword that reaches it has no effect, nor does the spear or the dart or the javelin. Iron it treats like straw, and bronze like rotten wood. Arrows do not make it flee. Sling stones are like chaff to it. A club seems to it but a piece of straw. It laughs at the rattling of the lance. Its undersides are jagged potsherds, leaving a trail in the mud like a threshing sledge. It makes the depths churn like a boiling cauldron, and stirs up the sea like a pot of ointment. It leaves a glistening wake behind it. One would think the deep had white hair. Nothing on earth is its equal, a creature without fear. It looks down on all that are haughty. It is king over all that are proud. Then Job replied to the Lord, I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. You asked, who is it that obscures my plans without knowledge? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. You said, listen now and I will speak. I will question you and you shall answer me. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. After the Lord had said these things to Job, he said to Eliphaz the Temanite, I'm angry with you and your two friends because you've not spoken the truth about me as my servant Job has. So now take 7 bulls and 7 rams and go to my servant Job and sacrifice a burnt offering for yourselves. My servant Job will pray for you, and I will accept his prayer and not deal with you according to your folly. You have not spoken the truth about me as my servant Job has. So Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite did what the Lord told them, and the Lord accepted Job's prayer. After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. All his brothers and sisters and everyone who had known him before came and ate with him in his house. They comforted and consoled him over the trouble the Lord had brought on him, and each one gave him a piece of silver and a gold ring. The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. And he also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. The first daughter he named Jemimah, the second Keziah, and the third Karen Hapuk. Nowhere in all the land were there found women as beautiful as Job's daughters, and their father granted them an inheritance along with their brothers. After this, Job lived 140 years. He saw his children and their children to the fourth generation, and so Job died, an old man and full of years. God is causing me to appreciate these chapters for the purpose of teaching me the posture that I have to have with him, the understanding that I have to have that God is the one who has done all of these things. And it's not just what he's done external to me, it's also what he's done in my life, what he's showing me today about how he's made me into a different creation, how he's caused me to long for and love and devote myself to things that I never would have given any credence to because I was too bogged down in fleshly selfishness. He has shown me that he has made me love him and seek his kingdom. And not only to do that as a means of works, because you do that as a means of works, you still may not have any change within your heart, but to actually change me internally so that when I'm faced with the prospect of, well, is this real or not? Is he going to fulfill this or not? And if he doesn't, what do I go to? Then what does this mean in my life? And to actually mourn and grieve over the prospect of losing this incredible joy, this incredible purpose of serving his house, of building his kingdom. I don't want anything else. So if this isn't real, my upset, my pain is not going to be, oh, I gave up all of my wealth. My upset and pain is going to be that I've lost what is more dear to me than anything. And I'm crying because I didn't think it could ever be like that. I didn't think that my heart could ever actually really feel that way. It was an ideal at one time. It was something that, yes, I want to be this for God, but he has made it happen. He's made me into something I couldn't make myself into, and given me a heart that I couldn't have given myself, that I couldn't have changed myself into. And so, to be honest, I mean, I'm certainly rending my heart to this and listening, as I'm reading, really listening with my heart about, yeah, he's done all these things. What in the world do we think? I think about, one of the things that I was thinking about is years ago when I was in AA, when I was younger, I remember seeing someone at school. I just started college, and seeing someone at school who I used to see at meetings and asking him, hey, where have you been? And I remember him saying to me, well, it's kind of hard to do the program when you don't believe in God and you just believe that all of this is pointless. And I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, you don't believe in God? And I was not a righteous person at the time, but it was like such a crazy thing to me that someone could not believe in God. Such an arrogant thing. How do you stand in front of the ocean? How do you wake up and just take for granted that the bees do their thing and the spiders and that the world wakes up at the same time every day, that the sun rises and sets, that a seed grows and turns into a plant that bears fruit, that a baby forms inside of a woman from nothing, or that you're even able to breathe in and breathe out. It was just so insane to me to hear that. And I'm thinking of other times where people have said the same thing as as I've been an adult. I mean, I suppose I was an adult back then, but I think of myself as still being a kid. It's so absurd to me that anyone could actually really believe that there's no God. But then I'm no better. I'm sitting here today and I keep oscillating between, are you going to do something? Are you not? I feel scared today in spite of everything that he is. And he's bringing me to the place that I need to bring myself to, which is I need to wait on his plan, and I need to believe in what he's said, and I need to believe in who he is and that he is. And he's giving me the confirmation in his word because, frankly, there are no confirmations in this world. No one's living this out. Feel free to tell me one person that you know who's living this. I don't have any human examples. You do. You have a human example. But I have examples in the Bible. of biblical faith and biblical miracles, and I expect it because this is my covenant with him. If I want to see biblical miracles, I have to stand in biblical faith, and he will be faithful to those who've been faithful to him. So I don't know how many videos I'll do today. Today's going to be a rough day, and maybe this will be enough to carry me through, but this is what I'm standing in right now. God is. I know that God is. And if he is, and he's proven this word to me, I have to stand right now. And not stand in my own understanding, not stand in my own plan of what's going to happen, but to stand in who I know that he is. Please hang on to this message. You're going to need it.